Hello. Welcome to the Valtown live stream. Today I have Sahil with me, founder of Gumroad and Flexile. I'm very excited about this one. Sahil's a really creative person. He's made so many companies, projects, designs. He's been a big inspiration to me for years. So I'm very excited to have him on the live stream. And he has a really interesting project idea that I'll let him explain. So welcome, Sahil.
Hey, thanks for having me, Steve. Great to be here.
Yeah.
Excited to build some
sweet.
stuff.
Yeah, let's build some stuff. So, why don't you tell us a bit about the idea you have? Oh, I guess maybe you can give some context on what I think most people know what Gumroad is, but maybe tell people what Flexile is, and I guess the context of Gumroad. And anyways, there's kind of a long backstory to this, but it's interesting.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I guess the sort of TLDR is that I started a company called Gumroad in 2011. Gumroad is a service that helps content creators sell digital assets online, ebooks, courses, audio, video files, tons of stuff, just like a super long tail. Last year, 55,000 creators sold a product. It's a lot of people selling lots of stuff, about $175 million a year in GMV. And in 2022, we started building a new product called Flexile, which is basically the way that we run the business. Is we have a team of remote freelancers, all hourly. We think this is like a really interesting way to run a creator economy business. And generally, I think websites should kind of just be run. That was my sort of philosophical view of building companies. Was like, can I scale this without having to hire like a bunch of full-time employees again? Sort of been there, done that, and sort of started building Flexile. And Flexile sort of gives us the opportunity to kind of really like one level lower in our company building. And if you're using, a bunch of tooling other people have built, you're kind of constrained on like, how do we do compensation? How do we do equity? How do we do, liquidity for our cap table? Because you just have to kind of go to, you either do it manually, you pay lawyers a lot of money, or you just use like some out of the box solution, and then you're pretty constrained on like basically what the industry defaults may be. And so I thought it'd be fun to kind of just try to like reinvent some wheels and see if any of them are cool and interesting. Most reinvented wheels are not, but I think every once in a while you hit on an interesting new idea, and I think Gumroad is kind of a good size company that we can kind of try some of these ideas out and then share our learnings kind of with the world. And one sort of recent thing that we started doing is a buyback. So not pretty common in the tech industry. Basically if you are not going to IPO anytime soon, but you're profitable, you're kind of post product market fit, you want to generate returns for investors, you can buy back shares from them. How do you decide the price? Basically the big question. And so I thought it'd be fun to kind of explore like maybe an innovation on this model. Typically in the tech industry, you just find some third-party investors. Stripe actually announced this yesterday, I believe, where Sequoia is basically buying a bunch of shares or facilitating a bunch of share, basically doing a secondary sale. So it's not a buyback necessarily because the company isn't buying it back, but it's effectively the same thing because you're kind of connecting a buyer and a seller. In that case, the buyer is sort of paying the price they went with their last 409A valuation, which makes a lot of sense for a mature company. What I decided to do is to basically do a reverse Dutch auction and to say, hey, so we're going to buy back a certain number of shares. We're going to buy back, let's say, $1 million worth, and then people submit bids, sort of sell orders, similar to how you would see like a NASDAQ sort of secondary sort of trading marketplace thing, and then we would start from the bottom, go to sort of that $1 million limit, and then we would kind of go with that price. That way, effectively, the company gets to buy back at like a good price instead of the highest price, and also you get some price discovery going on because people have to actually really think like, how much do I want to sell at what price, and so you end up figuring out like, okay, this is like the price that people are effectively willing to sell. In our case, we're offering a price of between $100 million and $200 million. So the price of Gumroad after this, this sort of should be between there. If it's above, like let's say it's at if it's at 100 million, like let's say it's the lowest amount, then basically it means that people want to sell. Like, they're trying to get out of their position. If it's at the highest amount, or if there's not enough demand to sell at all, then it means Gumroad's probably worth more than 200. And I try to pick a range in which I think Gumroad is worth somewhere in here, right? Basically, like it's probably worth between 100 and 200 million dollars based on our cash flow, and if we were publicly listed with some liquidity discount, something like that. So anyway, I think it's fun. Most people would just email out, a bunch of emails and collect information. And I thought it might be a good product to kind of like a mini little web app that we could build and impress our shareholders with our conscientiousness for how we approach, even something simple like a buyback. So anyway, that was some context on what I think might be fun to work on.
Sounds great. I love it. I feel like we're kind of inhabiting the space like in between like an Anthropic project, which is like only front end state. It's like cool and interactive, and like a Google form, which is like data, but it's like really dumb, simple, can't do anything interesting. I think, yeah, like right, at least in this moment in time, Valtown carves out a space for being like it can be dynamic and interesting, but also save backend data. So
exactly.
Let's see where there's maybe a couple other things we could share with folks, like I guess you could show them the existing like third-party software that does this. You could show them the Google form you have. You show them the Anthropic project you have, just to kind of give everybody like a sense of the state of the project.
Sure. Yeah. So the first thing I did was email our legal firm and say, hey, we want to do this. What would you recommend? And they kind of said, this is kind of the default software that people use. It's owned by NASDAQ.
If you wouldn't mind,
yeah,
if you could make your browser window a little bit wider and then zoom in like 5 times or something like that. Yeah. Nice.
Like this.
That looks great.
Awesome. Yeah. So they recommended Second Market. Second Market was acquired by NASDAQ. It's kind of crazy if you want to like how few companies actually help with this. It's like literally the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ like keep coming up. It's kind of crazy that like, all the FANG companies, like they're all using, these two products, these two companies. It's kind of crazy for these $1 trillion companies, but they have this. Scroll down here, you can kind of see like a little demo of what this might look like, where you submit bids. I don't know exactly what this is showing, lorem ipsum, but kind of submit these bids, and you can see some data on, like this is kind of how I think about it, is like people should be able to see the admin should be able to see, okay, these are the orders coming in, and this is like the equilibrium price based on that sort of the demand and the supply demand. You have these like buy sell orders, something like that. I think they're just kind of implying a lot of stuff, because I do think when you end up having a call with these folks, like this is all manual. It doesn't look as good as this, unfortunately. And it ends up being like pretty manual. I invest in some companies, so I get them as an investor. And it's just like, oh gosh, I have to fill out some other crazy thing that doesn't have autofill properly, and it doesn't have, it's just not great software. And so I thought, yeah, why don't we build something better? We already have FlexStyle that we've been working on, so why don't we build buybacks? Eventually should be sort of a native sort of product feature. But to start, I thought, let's just sort of MVP it.
If you could zoom in again.
And this is what I've done so far, which is I just use a Google form. I just say, hey, here's all the info of, I'm just basically setting the terms. You could imagine this is a bit of like a sign up form with a, agree to our TOS, and their email. And we don't have any validation on this, so maybe we can talk through that. But basically, we would want to make sure that they're real investors. We ask for their name, which we don't actually need, because in theory, their email should link to all that. And then basically just how many shares you want to sell, and at what share price would you like to sell them. In the beginning, I thought it would be, and then I asked some questions on what should Gumroad actually do. Unfortunately, I got basically no useful data from this, besides like, keep doing it, which is what most they're passive, right? They're passive investors. They're not activists, which is nice. But it's, it's nice to ask and see what they say. So yeah, in the beginning, I thought it would just be one bid per person, so you kind of have to really think about it. But I like the idea actually of multiple bids, so people can say at this price I'd sell this many, at this price I'd sell this many, at this price I'd sell this many, and then I think we can sort of decide. Basically the equilibrium price would be based on how much we end up buying, which I thought $1 million would be a good sort of trial. So I think we'll do that. So yeah, so this is
This, I feel like this is kind of a random question, but this $1 million is from like free cash flow. It's like profits the business is generating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it comes out of our cash flow, our profits. It doesn't come from like other investors or anything like that. I do think
what a concept.
Yeah, what a concept, exactly. What a concept. But I mean, I think it's interesting because I think a lot of these, and it's not perfect, but I think, basically it allows for this sort of like private transaction to happen, a price to be discovered. And then I think the theory that I'm playing around with is effectively like, can you raise money from the crowd, but without having to the hardest part about raising money from the crowd using crowdfunding or is picking a price, right? I mean, this is imagine like the whole IPO process, right? It's all about picking the right price and finding, underwriters at that price. And that's like why banks charge, $40 million to go public, is to help you find the right price and then find the buyers. But if you're profitable and, you're actually the buyer, right? In this case, so how do you find the price? And if you come up with a nice number, then you can basically use that number to go fundraise, right? So instead of fundraising and then using the fundraise to buy back, which is the traditional process, it's actually the opposite in our case, which is we do a buyback and then based on, let's say it is 200, let's say there's like no demand. Well, then inherently, like we should, the company is worth $200 million, at least to this.
It's hilarious to say there's no demand when you mean there's so much demand for your stock that there's no demand for selling your stock.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no demand to sell the shares at that price, right? There may be demand if I said, hey, we're going to do a buyback. It's between 100 million and $1 billion, right? Like then I would hope there would be demand. Otherwise, people are really just kind of like making a very emotional investment, which is also reasonable. But let's say it comes out and it's 168 million, right? That ends up being the equilibrium price. Well, maybe we can say, hey, we actually think that we could use more money and raise money at that price, right? And we just go to the public and say, using Regulation A+, like we're raising money for Gumroad, Flexile, all of these projects. This is the price we're raising at, and this is how we came to this conclusion. This is like the equilibrium price that the people who know Gumroad best, right, like who've been investors, who've been getting the quarterly updates, who've been tuning into the board meetings, like this is what they believe their ownership is worth. And if these are kind of high information voters in a sense, right? Most investors are low information, right? They're not going to spend 2 hours watching videos. So, you need a proxy. And so I think this might be an interesting solution. Otherwise, the alternative is I just have to go find one rich person that's kind of famous, right? And basically, hey, Sequoia is doing this. And then everyone kind of just falls in line. I'm really trying to figure out if there's like a sort of decentralized way of solving that problem, because my whole shtick right now is like, how do you sort of like remove the sort of like the centralization of power that happens when you have like VCs that lead rounds and things like that. Like, I just think it would be cool for the public to be able to participate and get better deals and things like that. So yeah. And then really quickly, I used Claude. As you mentioned, there's no
sorry to keep bugging you about zooming in, but that would be good.
Yeah. So I just pasted, I just pasted the Google form into Claude, and then I just added my prompt here, which is please build a little web app that allows one to see the impact of choosing different share prices / amounts to sell based on the other people on the cap table choosing to sell or not as well. Which honestly, if I I don't feel like most of my friends would be like, what the hell did you just say here? But AI is good at figuring that out. And then I just gave some examples. For example, if all the demand is at this price, then and you put in at a higher price, you're not going to participate, etc. And then it worked. I mean,
Oh,
it did.
does everyone get the cutoff price, or does everyone get
Everyone
their
gets the
price?
Everyone gets the cutoff price. Yes, because I want to be fair.
Oh,
So everyone ends up getting the same price. Everyone pays the same. Or
that's what a Dutch auction does. So some people
Exactly.
get a really good deal. They would have sold for $3, but they'll get $100 or whatever it is.
Exactly right. So and it ends it like the most company favorable thing to do would be to just give everyone the price they'd be willing to sell at, and just go bottom and go up. And this is if you're really brutal, I feel like because we have leverage, we could do that. But I want to
that's legal. That's interesting. I feel like that's actually more fair.
This is what I would think is more fair, because you're kind of going to go with, and that's why you need you need $1 million, right? You need some amount of money where there's many people participating in this. For example, in this case, we had 167 people fill this out, and so
I guess what I'm saying, like, now you're kind of susceptible to people like lowballing you because they're like, like, I trust that there are enough people who are going to push the price higher that, like, I'll just get the benefit of their pushing the price higher, but I'll definitely be included. There's like a free rider problem now.
Yes, but in the case of, let's say there's no extra demand, then the price is what they said, right? And then it's a great deal for the company.
Yeah.
We basically get it. We get to buy their shares at the lowest price.
Yeah, but then the price of the company, you have the double-edged sword. Now the company's valued really low.
Correct. If we were going to go then use that price to raise money at, it would be a lower price. Basically, if the price is super low, then I would just not do it, right? I'd say, hey, this is a good price.
You'd be like, oh, I value the company more than the market does. Like, I'm just going to buy up all the shares.
Exactly right. Exactly. And but on the other hand, if the market is valuing it more than I am, I value Gumroad at roughly 15 to 20 XP ratio in my head, because I just look at the flow and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on this for another 20 years, whatever. Then I should raise money in theory, right? Like if the market is willing to value Gumroad at $500 billion, let's say, then I should raise an infinite amount of cash, as long as you're very clear about what I'm trying to do here, which is there's just dividends on the other side of this, right? Like there's some buybacks, but really it's about the dividends. It's about building a cash flowing set of businesses now. So yes, it's kind of basically I think of it as like an alternative to the IPO. It's just a way of providing some seminal amount of liquidity without having to, basically spend $500,000, $1 million a year being a public company, which is a brutal process. So yeah, and then I kind of iterated on it a little bit. So there was some back and forth, only 3 prompts, and you can kind of see like what I basically wanted a reason of why you're not included. And then I wanted kind of a table of the different investors and their participation. So, this was kind of me as it was useful for me to just be like, oh, okay, this is how I think it could potentially play out. So it ended up doing this kind of like, high, medium, low demand sort of thing. It looks a bit like this. Scroll up. So yeah, imagine you have this thing. You say, okay, I want to sell, at the highest price, which I think is this, which would value Gumroad at 200 million. I want to sell let's say I have 100,000 shares. You submit your thing. So in this case, I'm not participating. The equilibrium price. Basically this person, put their shares in. This person put their shares in, wanted to sell at a lower price, and so this was the equilibrium price. It's too low compared to this, so I don't participate. I don't participate on this at all. Medium demand, also I don't participate in this, and then high demand. Also high demand, I don't participate. So great. You don't want to choose the price this high. But so let's say you want to do 1,000 shares, and you're going to just do the lowest price. You want some liquidity. You're confident other investors may push the price up a little bit, so you say, okay, I'm going to sell my 1,000 shares at this price. Simulate.
Yeah. I guess, and I'm realizing that if you definitely want to, you're if there's like a whole flood of people who want to sell their shares at the lowest price, then like you're vulnerable to that.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly. The way to fix that would be to say basically there's only one bid per person. You only get to make one offer, right? And then everyone has to really think about how much and price.
Like, does this mean binding matter? Like at some point, like, what we're working on today isn't binding, but like at some point, will it matter?
It will be
like binding.
Yeah, like at some point, basically, it'll be binding where you fill out, you sign a form, you sign a contract.
Oh wow! It'll be a sell order at a price, and then like
it'll be a sell
sign.
Order. Yeah,
I see.
You'll basically say, I am committed to participating in this buyback. This many shares at this price. You basically just sign a doc, and then we basically use that to come up with the equilibrium price, and then do the buyback. But it's really, one of the fun things I've learned about building this kind of stuff is that there's effectively only two things that like web apps do in a way. One is basically let two parties sign contracts, and the other is basically store data. A database, store data. Basically, Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel are the two products that you need to do anything in the business business world. You need contracts. You need to kind of agree on terms. You need to sign it, and then you need to basically record that somewhere, right? So you can do queries, display the data, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, a buyback is effectively just like a Word document that everyone signs, and then the cap table, kind of like sort of a database where you're displaying that data and having some checks on, validations and things like that. But it's pretty exciting to me because I basically realized like I can kind of build whatever I want as long as I get like a lawyer to write the contract, right? Like there's actually a ton of flexibility in all of these things. Like I want to do a reverse Dutch auction, I can do that. Like there's no constraint on that. I just have
to. Like the SEC doesn't care about this. There are some good laws in place.
Yeah, I mean the biggest risk, the biggest thing that basically a legal firm will advise you is that you just have to do a lot of disclosures, right? So this is not like this aspect is you can kind of do whatever you want. You could even say, hey, we're going to do we think the price is this amount. We're not even going to do an auction. We're just going to pick this price. You can do that, but you still have to basically publish all of your financials to everyone, right? So everyone who participates in this will get it, will already has access to, our monthly P&L for the last 2 years. So Gumroad, we publish our board meetings on YouTube. Like the disclosures is not a big deal to us. So the thing that prevents most people from pursuing something like experimenting more is the fact that it does open you up to liability, and the way that we do that is by just the world is just by just being hyper transparent, right? And like effectively if you're hyper transparent, all of the liability goes away because the liability comes from not disclosing information, right? You imagine, for example, you go public, what is the cost? Like if you actually read the S1, like what takes up the most space in the public offering? It's the risk factors, right? It's hundreds of pages or dozens of pages of like basically what could happen that would make the stock price go down. And the reason for all those disclosures, which you don't need, by the way, you could say no disclosures, but then if someone buys your shares, then something bad happens, they can sue you, and then all of a sudden you have to go to court and discovery and all these sorts of things. Very expensive. So that's why basically you have these like dozens and dozens of pages of like like Shopify is risky because like Toby could get hit by a bus, or like Shopify is risky because Facebook might launch this or whatever, right? And you just have like you just sit with your lawyers for hours and you just try to come up with things that could go wrong, right? AI actually, I think, will be phenomenal for these kinds of things because you'll be able to just generate, like 50,000 risk factors, right? And basically what you do is you just have a contract, right? And you just say like, you agree to like, these are all the risk factors, right? Like you agree to acknowledging that these are all risk factors and that, in this case, it's actually the opposite in a way because they're selling shares, not buying them. So it'll actually be more like, you want to make sure you give people the information that makes them feel like they know how much I believe in Gumroad and believe in FlexOp.
Mm.
Right? Because it's this weird thing where if they participate and then they learn that like, oh, I was secretly working on some project that I thought was massive, and then I like tried to do this buyback to like clear the cap table so that all the profits would go to all that kind of stuff. That would be basically like the fear in this case, I guess. But yeah, all this gets mitigated by just being a super public person, right? Like it just makes this kind of aspect of it a lot easier. So
that is funny that you run the world's most public company so that you don't have to run a public company.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I mean, I think of it like it's what the government wants, which is like they set up incentives to create self-regulation, right? Basically, is kind of how I think about it. It's like if you want to be a public company, but you don't want to be a public company, well, then you have to be a public company, right? Like the public company, perks you acquire, by being public, by doing all the things that being public requires. Like, for example, you have to do quarterly filings, right? You have to disclose your financials every quarter. And so we do quarterly board meetings and we disclose our financials every quarter. We don't have to, but effectively, like, I am trying to get all the perks of being a public company. So I should, right, run it like the same way. And ironically, like, I actually think it's kind of funny that board meetings are not public. Like, I don't know. It's kind of funny that you have quarterly financials, but you don't have quarterly board meeting recordings published on YouTube, right? And the reason is probably because most of these laws were written before video streaming, right?
Yeah,
like
totally.
the idea that like, before it was like you had to fax these forms, right? It was, like the law was like fax. Even now, if you want to register as like a Delaware C Corp, right, you have to fax something, or you don't do an 83B election, you have to fax something, literally, right? So anyway, yeah, it's kind of crazy how much I feel like room there is, but it's all like regulation. It's all, it's all. So anyway, I think that's kind of what I want to work on is like how do I kind of like really integrate.
I think we better write some code. We better write some code soon. Otherwise, it's just a podcast of two founders talking about share buybacks. And that's a very different media property than the one that I'm trying to make. But it's great. This is fascinating stuff. I think maybe the place to start. I guess we could just like get this exact app that you have from Anthropic, like running on Valtown. That's like one direction. I feel like maybe like the direction that would feel more natural to me would be to make an HTTP form and a SQLite database, and get data in the SQLite database. Look at the database, and that kind of thing.
Awesome. Sounds good to me.
All right. So for anyone who has no Townie, zoom in a couple more times. It is very new raw software. We just did a redesign of the UI yesterday. We also gave it tool use. So like here, start by saying like, what's my username, or like, what's my user ID, or something like that. If you, So get requests, it's able to do without your permission. But if you said like make a val that does X, which is a post request, then it'll like check with you before it like actually runs the.
Oh yeah. What if I say?
So you could try that. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if. Yeah, I don't think we don't even allow changing usernames. Which is funny.
Perfect.
Yeah. Let's see. You could say like make a val for me that does X. That's like the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might use some combination of Townie and other LLMs for this. All right, that looks like some good code. And then you could press the button, but don't do that right away. I think for tool you say like, okay, like make like just tell it again, like great, put that in my account or something like that. See if it comes up with the
request.
Nice.
And this is code, and this is the name. So you can basically, the API takes in code with new lines and everything.
Yeah. So the like enabling technology here is we recently we built like a better open API spec. That's like the technology. But yeah, we like open, for those who don't know, open API specs are documents that describe the inputs and outputs of a company's API, and it's what OpenAI is using for tool use. So it's how you describe to an LLM, like here are all the API calls you can make. And so now that we have a good Open API spec, we've given it to Townie. I think it went ahead and did it. If you scroll down, we can see. Let's see. So yeah, it like made the val, and you can access it there. Cool. And just interesting. So I think. So if you could zoom in a couple more times, like the Command Plus.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Cool. So it made the val for you, which is great, but it didn't make it the right type. So you have to click on script and change that to HTTP, and then change it from private to unlisted. So it didn't quite do all the things that you would need. And then hit preview, and then it'll show you. Yeah. Just refresh the page. I think it's stuck in a weird state. Huh. Collect emails as found as not extent.
Is it do I need this still? That's required.
Oh, you know what it is? If you scroll up a little bit, I think it created a val with an illegal name for you. That's wild. If you change the dash to an underscore, then I think it'll work. That's wild. It clearly got past our validator. That's so funny. All right, well,
there you go.
There we go. We got a val. Nice.
That's funny. So
so
that's crazy. Yeah, I guess.
Is there any part of it you want to review, or do you want to? Yeah.
Oh, what does this say? Oh, I guess maybe that's.
That's why. Yeah. So you can like delete the underscore and just make it collect emails with no space. We have a plan to fix this situation. We have a plan to make dashes valid. Nice. Great.
Cool. Perfect. Awesome. And then I can just do this. And then
Command Enter. We'll do it. Yeah.
Awesome.
We have this. So if you click on if you scroll up a little bit, let me see. We also have another new view. This code editor beta on the top right. Yeah. That's probably better.
Oh yeah, I created
and
then. Yeah. Awesome.
And then so you can, if on the right, you can. There's like all the way to the right. There is a button to like view the preview. Yeah.
Got it. Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, that's nice. So all right, so we're messing with we're playing with fire here.
Awesome.
I think now like adding an email address and like see if it's in the database would be cool.
Yes. Awesome. Let's do that.
So great. Oh, that's good. I think it looks like it didn't use SQLite for us. I'm just looking at the code. So like, where's the post request? Email list.push email. Yeah, you can click on logs and see what the actual error is over on the right. Right, and yeah, nice.
E.
Unexpected E. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So the Tiny wrote some bad code. So yeah, we're expecting like on line 8, we're expecting it like to post JSON, but the form is not JSON. Like form is form data. So like it's a kind of a different method. So here I can help you get in the right format. Like delete line 8, and you can add a comment. So we have another AI assistant in the editor called Codium. So yeah, if you delete line 8 and just add a comment like parse email out of form data, in JavaScript, comments are //.
Oh yeah, shoot. Awesome.
That still not quite the right one. Too bad. Do like I happen to just know the code. Const form data equals, and that should write it for you. Delete const email. We'll do email on the next line. Yes. I think that should. Yeah, that looks right. Dot get email. It's almost there. It's yeah. Instead of parse form, I think it's just form data. Yeah, nice. And then you could do form data dot get email. Yeah, get and then emails the. Yeah, nice, cool. That should work, but we're still not storing it anywhere. You could just return it.
Could you do a console log or something?
This. Yeah, you could console log it, or you could just put it in the JSON that you're returning. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we can just keep this for now, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, that's good. Cool, go for it.
Whee! It worked.
Nice. Cool. So now, let's store it in SQLite.
Like, is this persistent state or no? This is rendered.
No. Yeah, that's not persistent state. So now let's add in SQLite. That's like the next thing.
Awesome.
So if you delete, yeah, you can go ahead and delete that thing. Type the @ symbol. Probably the easiest ways to do it is with this @ symbol import thing we have, and then SQLite. So the @ symbol like it gets you into a SQLite state. So just @ symbol SQLite, and then it's the third just hit the third one.
This one in statement.
No, sorry, the fourth one. Yeah, that one. There you go. Nice. Okay, cool. So now it's imported, and that's like the function. You can like copy that to where you want to insert it, or just rewrite it.
Got it. I see. Interesting. So you created the
like
app.
SQLite.
So this,
yeah, it's.
Or you don't need this.
You don't need that. You don't need that anymore. Now it's just SQLite.execute, and then we can add it. But I guess this is maybe we should just get you an example to look at. That'll be better. Let's see. Here, if you hover over the word SQL, if you hover over the SQLite thing, it should just take you to the docs, and that'll give you like kind of all the context you need. Click on. That's not where I wanted you to go, but yeah, we should fix that. If you scroll down, there's like a little blue link. That's what I want you to click on. Or just click on the word SQLite. Yeah,
oh, this
scroll
thing?
down. Yeah, exactly.
Got it. And then execute.
And so you click on usage up in the top. Like usage there. Yeah, nice. That's what it looks like. So what we'll need to do is first we'll need to create a table, and then we can insert data. Yeah, you got it.
So create a table. Boop, 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 boop.
So to create a table just outside, like on line 6 or something, or whatever, line 4, doesn't matter. Great.
This will be
nice. Cool.
Do I need to wait here or no?
You don't need it, but if you want to like, yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Wait, key will be email and value will be this, and then whatever, and then table.
Yeah, I guess what do you want the shape of the table to be? Do you want it to just contain email addresses? Maybe like a timestamp, email
I think we
addresses.
should do email address, timestamp, and then number of shares and share price.
Oh, okay. So then maybe call it like a way create tables not exist, and then give it a name like orders at the very end of that line instead of KV. KV is the name.
Oh, I see. Got it.
And then yeah, let's work on that.
So this would be email, or this would be.
So you could do this in a comment and then have Codium write it for you. Like our AI thing should be good enough to do this.
I'm gonna do.
So what I would do is like put this comment on line 6 and then delete lines 8 and 9, and then it'll delete those lines. Yeah.
And then number of shares, int share price, something like this.
Yeah, perfect. And then I would put your cursor. Yeah, enter. Nice.
Oh.
No. I think it's yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe just type the word email. Like give it some more clues. Yeah, sure. Email text. Enter. Yeah, there we go.
Awesome. And then these can be null. Like we don't actually have to pass it in if we don't want to for now, just to test. Or
yeah, I think all SQLite defaults to everything being nullable unless you say non-null.
Okay, cool.
But you'll need to rewrite the SQL and insert statement to like. But maybe this might be able to be written automatically for you. Yeah, if you delete lines 19 and 20, it could write those lines for you. Nice.
And then I just need to make sure that basically this, I could probably do the same thing with this word.
Yeah. Nice.
It's funny, it doesn't do labels. I guess labels are overrated. I like my labels.
Yeah. Oh, I guess you didn't have a label, or because County didn't give you a label. So now if you delete the other ones, it'll probably do labels.
Boom.
Yeah.
There you go. And then we just preview it. Nice.
Oh, interesting. Maybe they need like divs, like they need line breaks.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, you could just do like field set. Then move this down. Will this work?
Huh.
Yeah, no, I feel like this is what we've been doing at Gumroad, which is kind of makes it a bit cleaner. I didn't know about field sets until recently.
There isn't a bit like yeah, field set's cool. Yeah, I guess you could delete line 46 and have it write the next.
Yeah.
Yeah, write that for you. Nice.
So, whatever. Something like that. Cool. And then
Nice.
email 100.
Whoa. I wonder what it actually collected.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we kind of like want to look into the database table. So there are two ways we can do this. One way is we could just build like an admin view where we get all the data and list it.
That'd be awesome.
The other way, okay, we can start there. The other way is
in this page.
Yeah, what's that?
Could we just put it in the index?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. So I could just do like HR or something, and then have like something like this, or that won't work.
I think it would actually be simpler to do it in another page, because it would like make more sense to the AI that we're asking for help with. So you would just do like app.list or something like that. Yeah, that get list.
I'll do admin.
Cool. And then I guess you can copy and paste the like, yeah, or you can just rewrite it. Cool, nice. The main thing we'll need to do is like you'll need to make it, right now it's like an arrow function that just returns a value. It should be like, you need to like actually do the query before you.
Yes, yeah, currently I'm just.
Yeah, so put like a curly bracket at the end of line 56. Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah. And then like everything needs to go in there, and then enter, and then like return c.html. Yeah, cool. And then yeah, delete that form. Well, yeah, we're not gonna want that form. You could just delete it for now. We'll have it like rewrite it for us later.
Yeah, this will just be.
Then online, like well, hold on. Yeah, before you get there, online like 50, put your cursor at the end of line 56, hit enter, and then do like const rows equals or whatever. Yeah, that works. That's fine.
Give me the autocomplete.
Do you want it as do you want it as a table or just a UL? Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, let's do a UL for now. We can update it to table. It's better.
Yeah, we don't have. Maybe instead of email.email, just say email. Yeah, I can get into why that's not going to work, but yeah, just remove that. Yeah, that'll just give you like the whole row. Cool. Run that, and then in the preview, yeah, just at the end of the line, add/admin.
I'm missing.
I think yeah, you're missing
here. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And then go here and change this to admin.
Yeah.
Boo. Cannot read properties of map.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You have to put in a wait. On line 57 before. Yeah. Oh, and then you have to make the function asynchronous. So on line 56, like async. A little bit higher. No, sorry. Yeah, async a little. Sorry, right before the C. Yes.
Got it. Yeah, this is the stuff that I'm unfamiliar with. All these east and stuff. Oh, but it worked.
Nice. Yeah.
So it just in this case, it just displayed the timestamp.
Yeah, I wonder if we're not correctly storing the other stuff. Let's see.
It might be this.
Yeah. I think that's it. Yeah, 10 and 100
would be the number of shares and the share price. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Perfect.
Nice.
All right. So we have a basic Google form clone kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a really basic Google form clone. I mean, it's kind of crazy how much people pay for Typeform. You know, when like you could build a competitor.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
You can do validations. You can do all your own custom stuff. Like I like autofocus and all this. I always get annoyed when like the first form field isn't autofocused. But... it's not autofocused. Why aren't you autofocusing?
Oh, maybe it's because it's in an iframe. Oh, hit the open in a new tab button. Over on the right. Yes.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Nice. Yeah, iframes are weird technologies.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. And then let me just, to make it a bit prettier, I'm just going to take this.
And put it. We could also take this code and put it into like Anthropic. Just paste this whole thing in Anthropic and say like make it look prettier.
Ooh, yeah.
And see if it can do that and keep it like, and not. I'm worried that Anthropic will like switch to React. Maybe start a new chat. Add Tailwind, but keep it server rendered with, yeah, sure. Styles is good. Yeah.
I hate Tailwind.
Tailwind is fine, but oh, you hate Tailwind?
I just don't know it. I don't know it. I haven't learned the so I don't feel like learning it.
Nice. That looks like it's doing the right. Oh, great. Cool. Sweet. And then maybe we should, I don't know, turn the UL into a table. That's like an option.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Or maybe it figured it out for us. We'll find out.
Yeah, JSON.
Yeah. Go for it. Yeah, turn the admin panel into a table is like a really great idea. Clap could do that.
But yeah, let's start with this. So yeah, now you have a nice little pretty form. You can do your
maybe submit it a second time.
Create. And then boom.
Cool.
And then yeah, let's do let's make it
Nice.
Yeah, I've learned that if you just have like semantic web standard, just like does a better job with like using the appropriate.
Ooh, yeah. So it's doing previous code unchanged. So now you have to like copy more intelligently, which is nice. It'll be faster, but you just have to copy this one route.
Yeah. Oh, they have this good too. Cool. So we can go back. We can just replace this.
Yeah. It's like we're so close to like having this all in Valtown.
Yeah.
If only. So I think what's happening now is, I have a quick fix for you, which is a weird one. I'm just going to send it to you in the private chat.
Sure.
Like if you copy that line that I just sent you and go to the top of your val and paste that in, it should fix it. Basically, what's happening is that our SQLite library has not a bug. Delete that one or comment it out or whatever. Yeah, great. Our SQLite library has a bug, and this fixes the bug, which is awesome. I'm like a little squeamish to roll it out. So anyways, that's why you have to import it manually.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, this is better than what I got as an investor in another company, to be honest. So it's already better.
Awesome.
But yeah, this is slick. I mean, you could easily add like a chart and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. We have a couple more minutes. Do we have any kind of small things we want to do?
Simulate buyback. Like basically, if you could have, what I was thinking is you could have like an input here, and then like amount, buyback amount, and then it would just highlight the participation. So you did $1,000,
Yeah,
it would just be this one or something. I don't know. It might be too.
yeah.
How much we can get done in 3 minutes or whatever, but
Yeah,
I feel like it wouldn't be too crazy to just basically you're just adding
yeah.
here.
Well, so it would be like a little bit, I think, complicated to do like client side stuff at this point, but server side stuff I think would be really simple. You add a form, and then the form would like submit to like a different route to like /buyback.
Yeah.
In theory, Claude would be able to do it for you if with the right prompt. Do you want me to?
Yeah,
I would ask Claude.
Yeah.
Go for it. Well, it already has it already knows the. Okay, sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. So I'm scared. I like giving.
Yeah, go for it.
Context, and then being like add a route that would allow an admin to simulate a buyback, e.g., 1,000.
I would say add a form to the admin panel.
Oh yeah.
Add a form to the admin panel that I can add an amount of money to simulate a buyback. That will do a post request to a new route that you create /buyback that parses the form data and creates two tables. One table of the accepted and total amount paid, or I don't know, whatever. Cool.
Yeah, that's fine. See how it goes.
Nice. I love Anthropic. Claude, it's so funny to me. Like when I saw you remember that chart of Anthropic, like of all the different models, and then like it's like ChatGPT 4.0 and then Anthropic is just like slightly better. I was like, no way I'm going to notice, but I was so wrong. Like
I completely stopped using OpenAI. I mean, I've switched to Claude completely
because it's so much smarter, or because of projects, or both.
Everything, honestly, it feels better in every single way. Like there's basically no reason for me to use OpenAI. Like it's better for projects, better for UI. It's faster. It's smarter and faster. And this isn't even Opus, right? Like when I saw that they had released Sonnet, I was like, oh, I'll just wait for Opus. Like that was my default reaction. And then the fact that it's better than Opus 3, basically, it's like pretty cool.
Okay, so it's making you more tables, which is not really what you want.
Yeah, don't make new tables. Just simulate in the front end /
Well, no, sorry, we don't want to simulate in the front end.
Not the front end is not the right terminology. I meant to say,
we'll see.
Server side. Okay, it's back. That's
Yeah, maybe I got what you mean. Oh, on click simulate buyback. All right, so it is trying to do it on
honestly, this is something I love about Claude, and it's just like this is not the approach that I would take if I were doing it myself, because the amount of code you need is so much more. But like the fact that you're not the one writing it, and like logically, it's actually simpler to understand. I feel like potentially. Could I just paste this whole thing? I mean, I feel like it didn't.
Yeah, you could try it. We'll see.
If you could see a diff of what came before.
We don't really have diffs, but we do have versions, so you can just roll back. It doesn't want you to, because it assumes you already have table style, like certain things defined. So I think instead of copying the whole thing, exactly. Yeah, just that. All right. You scroll up a little bit. I'm curious to see what that looks like. Oh wow. Scroll down a little bit more. I'm curious to see the script. Oh, see the script. Yeah, so that isn't going to work by default because of JSX like interpolates stuff. So what we need to do is it's called dangerously set inner HTML. Do you know that trick?
How do you do that? I've seen it, but I don't know actually how to.
So delete the end of the script tag, and then you're putting it there. Like delete the close. So like, let me just get you an example. Actually, why don't you find an example? Just go to like do Command K, and then type search. Like pull up searching for vowels. Cool, and then nice. And then we have semantic search, so you can just say Hano set dangerously inner HTML. Cool. Interesting that it's not. Maybe delete the Hano. Just yeah. It's like really matching just Hano. Or it's actually dangerously set inner HTML. That's maybe the issue.
Oh yeah, that's probably right. Dangerous. There you go. Okay, cool. So you just add that.
Yeah.
Equals.
Yeah, that's you just have to click the back button a couple times. And that's why this is actually, it might seem silly, but this is the reason why I didn't want to do client-side stuff. Like this one issue.
Oh, funny. So I just add, like it's here?
Yes, exactly. Yep, and then left bracket, and then type underscore in there. Yes, I think so. That looks right. And then back tick, and then it's a string, and then you have to close it, which is kind of annoying. And then you're missing one angle bracket after that last curly. Yeah.
One more.
Yes. Oh no, an angle bracket. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Here, if you is there not even? Oh, there it is. Whoa. No way is this gonna work. Let's try it.
No, it didn't work.
No.
Funny. Crazy.
Nothing. I mean, you could try opening a new page and then like looking in the console.
I mean, it's a 200, right? I mean, it's. But yeah,
but here, like click the open button and then check the console, and then you go to check the browser DevTools console. I'm curious if there's like an error there.
It says sorry, yeah, it's in a different window.
Oh, yeah.
Simulate buyback is not defined.
Yeah. Now we're in I guess we could go back to Claude and say, don't do it as a script tag, do it as server-side HTML. Do it as server-side HTML on form submission. All right, last try, and then I will let you get back to building your many companies.
Sounds good. Let's see how. I'm excited for this. I think we'll get it.
After we're talking about how smart Claude is.
Okay, there's a new route coming on. Sick.
Yeah, I think you'll need both routes.
And then boom. Oh wow, it added.
Wow.
Really had fun. Yeah. So we can try it. We can just add it all right here. This is probably duplicated now, so we can remove this one. And then I think we have to also update that form.
Or just I think the whole admin route could be replaced.
Oh yeah, the whole admin route can go away now. Exactly.
Or be replaced. Yeah.
Ooh. Or be replaced.
Yeah. This like copying and pasting between LLMs and code. We exist in like this. It's going to be months before like we at Valtown and we as like an industry figure out like workflows with LLMs that are better than this, because this is crazy.
Boom.
Whoa.
Rejected.
Cool. Now all rejected.
Well, why? It's because I mean, nothing should have been rejected, right? There should have been some
What did you
buyback amount. Let's say we did
yeah.
$1 million. Of course.
Oh, nice.
So it said that this was accepted because these prices are lower. You know, this was not accepted. So the total payout was 12,000. 12,000. I like the idea of like, you know, if I were to keep iterating on this, I think I would want to almost just take the cap table and just add it, and then just basically use it as a way to simulate for myself. Because this is actually very cool. Like this total payout number is actually quite interesting to me because it would give me a sense of like basically how much we should offer. So
yeah,
it's interesting.
Cool. Well, thanks again for coming on the live stream. This was so fun.
It was awesome.
And yeah.
Thanks for teaching me about weight and all that stuff. And I'll keep messing around.
All right. See ya.
Awesome.